What's going on, guys? Today we got a kind of a viewer requested video. There's been a lot of questions about charging batteries lately. So I'm going to cover what I know, hopefully to help you out. Let's get to it. But before we get into all that, go ahead and hit the like button. You're obviously going to like it. I mean, you're back watching this. And if you're not back watching this and this is your first time, hit the subscribe button. Boom, and the like button. Double whammy. Share it with a friend too, because I'm about to share some knowledge with you guys. Alright, so here's what we got. We got a 60 volt system, which isn't the most common in the world, but a lot of cars do have it, just depending on your configuration. Most common street setups are going to be probably 48 volts to 36 volts. Doesn't really matter what you got. I'm going to kind of show you on a 12 volt scale, easiest way. I just use the individual chargers. They do make multi-chargers, where you can plug up every single battery off of one charger. They make a charger where you can plug to your ground and plug it up to your hot. That all depends on the charger you buy, if it'll be set up for your batteries. So if you're new to hydraulics, charging batteries can get a little confusing. So I'm going to break it down the easiest way. If you just want to charge one battery at a time, I'll show you how to do that. I'll also kind of go over doing a multi-charger, and we'll talk about that little bad boy right there, because that's kind of the way to go in my book. Alright, say for example, you have no idea what voltage your setup is. Sometimes it can really get confusing, just depending on how stuff's wired. Easiest way really is just kind of trace your wires. Normally for a hydraulic system you have your batteries run in series, and what that means is your voltage doubles. Every battery you go, it jumps up by 12. You got 12, 24, 36, 48, 60. Now it definitely isn't always the case, jumping up in voltage. Like I said, batteries can be wired in very many different configurations. Easiest way I've found, find your ground and kind of go from there. Say for example I have my ground here. I could have a bank of 48 going this way, and a bank of 24 going this way. That's something we'll kind of get into a different video on different configurations, because there are all kinds out there. You can check out Russell Harris's YouTube page. He has a lot of good videos kind of pertaining to this stuff exactly for wiring up batteries. Basically I'm trying to stick to just charging on this though. Now, as being said, there are different kind of configurations. Using a single charger is kind of the easiest foolproof way that you can really go. Because basically what you're doing is you're isolating each individual battery. You're only charging one battery at a time. You're not worried about going through any kind of the wiring. You're not worried about any kind of voltages. As long as you have 12 volt batteries, that's the easiest way to go. And I'll show you how. I mean, you're gonna think I'm crazy here when you see this, but it's really simple. I mean, it's literally just charging a regular battery. It just doesn't seem like it because there's so many wires. All right, I do have a charger up here I'm gonna hook up, but we're gonna kind of use the voltmeter. The voltmeter is going to basically act as the battery charger, but pretty much what I'm just trying to show you is how a battery isolates itself when it's run through a circuit. This is going to be a circuit for the charger. Basically, you got your negative, your positive. It creates a loop. When you connect it, obviously it shows continuity. But if we were to hook our ground up to our ground, hook our positive to the 12 volt positive side on our first battery, we got 12.58 volts, which is good. Now, if you jump over your second battery and you put it on your negative, you still have 12.58 volts. Reason being is because that voltage only jumps up until it gets to that next positive. On our next positive, we got 25.1 volts, which it's supposed to be. It's normally 24, but these batteries are a little bit hot. Surprisingly, they've been sitting. But I just kind of wanted to describe that to you. If you had a 24 volt charger, you'd want to put it like this. But we're just talking about a 12 volt charger right now. So basically, you just want to hook it up like a normal battery. Just on one single battery though. You don't want to cross them over. You can, but I don't recommend it. You definitely don't want to jump up to the next positive because it's not going to charge it right. So just stick to one individual battery. Make a note of where your positives are. That's a negative. Make a note to where your positives and negatives are. Mine, obviously, my batteries are staggered because I want my wires to look like this. A lot of people will put them other ways, have their wires diagonal. It's all in preference. It doesn't matter. There's no real benefits of doing it any other way. It's cosmetics. I wanted nothing in the center of my battery rack, obviously, because I have a Cadillac logo there. If I had wires going across it, getting into that, kind of take away from that. With that being said, one thing I will touch on are battery cables. I do have a video showing how to build battery cables. I prefer the crimp style, and there's a reason I prefer the crimp style. Seen a lot of people talk about they like the solder style. The solder style does look good. I used to do it when I first got into lowriding. That's kind of how I was shown how to do it. But if you build a hopper, you'll notice your battery wires get hot. What does solder do when it gets hot? It melts. So I prefer the crimp style. It makes a better connection. If solder heats up, it has a worse connection. Then you get corrosion, you get loss of voltage, you get burned up solenoids, burned up motors. I just stay away from it. I'll link that video in the description. I'll put a little box in the top of the page too. Let's get to charging because we're kind of getting a little out of hand here. All right, so right now we have 2 independent chargers hooked up to 2 single batteries. You know, one battery for one charger, the other battery for the other charger. As you can see, this is our lead. Comes down to here, right down to our single charger. This one's from Harbor Freight. It's a El Cheapo. Does the job. And here's the reason why I say El Cheapo. It does the job. As you can see on our second battery, we got it hooked up. Obviously our polarity is reversed because our battery's flipped around. You know, check your positive and negatives. Follow our leads down. Our second El Cheapo battery charger. But you might notice, if you can see it, it's flashing 7 volts. Well, that battery's not dead. You can also probably see a lot of moisture inside there. This is the main reason I prefer just using small, cheap chargers like this. Because 9 times out of 10, I'm going to leave it out in the rain. That's cheap. That's not an $800 charger. You leave an $800 charger out in the rain and it fries, you're going to be pretty mad. Not to mention, I bought a warranty of these, so I'm going to go swap it out and I'll have a brand new one. Plus, I could buy 5 of those, and it's going to be way, way cheaper than an $800 charger. I could buy 8 of those, and it's going to be way, way cheaper than an $800 charger. Now, I'm sure some people's heads are going to explode, be like, oh my God, you're not using an $800 charger. That's not the proper way to charge a battery. People have been charging batteries with 12-volt systems for God knows how long. It may get a deeper charge using that. I highly doubt it. I mean, these, you can trickle charge them. Another good point. Try and charge your batteries as slow as you can. They do have the fast chargers. That really does take a toll on your batteries. So usually 2 amp or 6 amp, you know, is what I recommend. That's what I try and do unless I'm in a real hurry and I'll bump it up. But, you know, the slower the charge, the better it's going to be. But back to the expensive chargers. They are good. I'm not saying they're not. I'm not knocking them. It's just kind of a big, bulky thing to carry around. If you got it set up in your garage, that'd be ideal. You know, you can back your car in, hook your battery chargers up. It is nice. It only has 1 plug. Just something you kind of got to outweigh, you know, your cost, your convenience. For me, not worth it. You know, it's not worth lugging around, risking it being outside. For as cheap as these are, you know, I've been rocking them since I was in high school. You know, back in the day when I had my Oldsmobile, I literally had it. I think it was a 2x6 piece of wood. I had 8 battery chargers screwed down to it with 2 power supplies. When I get out of school, I'd go home, go to work, hook my battery charger up, let it charge while I'm at work, be ready to roll. You know, threw it inside, I was ready to go. You know, wasn't a big deal. And I mean, pretty much still the same to this day, just minus the board. Now I just got multiple battery chargers I carry around everywhere because I got so many different projects going on that need batteries charged. Still the same deal. You know, I rock just a single battery charger. It's worked for me for years. Don't have any problems with it. And it's just all, you know, within your budget. You know, low riding is not a cheap hobby to get into, that's for sure. Granted, there are some things you can, you know, I wouldn't say cheap out on. I wouldn't say buy the bottom of the barrel charger. I mean, granted, Harbor Freight's kind of the bottom of the barrel charger. But I did look at it and I've tested them. They seem pretty good so far. I am pretty happy with them. Never had any problems with them. I have left it out in the rain. It actually did really good. This isn't the first time I've used it since I've left it out in the rain, but apparently I left it one too many times. You know, use common sense. You know, if you're getting a battery charger for like $3, yeah, it's probably not a good charger. But I've had very good luck with just single chargers. That's kind of what I just want to show you and show you how to wire them up. You know, like I said, we could charge, if we had 5 chargers, we could charge all these at the same time. You know, we would just alternate our polarity. You know, keep 1 charger on 1 battery, and it'll be just fine. Now, if you're getting into a multiple charger, that'll do a higher voltage. Say I had a 60-volt charger. You wouldn't want to hook it up this way because it will blow that battery to smithereen, and you'll probably have to go to the hospital afterwards. You know, 12-volt battery, 60 volts, not a good idea. But what do you want to do in that scenario? You definitely can't, you know, easiest way to track it down, find your ground, find your end battery. You can get a voltmeter. Yes, voltmeters are 12 volts, but believe it or not, they'll go up pretty high. You can put your negative lead on there, positive lead over there. That'll tell you what current you have going through all these batteries, and they kind of simplify it for you. That way you can order the right charger. But one thing I can say, getting into like a multiple charger or getting into a multi-volt charger, if you're not confident at all about what you know, don't mess with it. You know, because you can burn your car down real quick. Batteries can explode. They can be very dangerous. It's kind of why I'm kind of gearing more towards just the independent chargers for beginners. Just kind of keep it simple, keep it a little bit safer. Now I'm going to get into my final topic of the video, street chargers. This is a multi-battery charger, kind of. Basically, it acts like an alternator, but it charges all of these batteries all at the same time. And I am a huge fan of this product because it runs while you drive and it charges your batteries while you drive. I've had them just about in every car I built. That car is getting one. That car is getting one. Obviously, this car already has one. That car is getting one. Very, very good product. I've always recommended them. I've always loved them. I've been rocking them for years now. The Blue Rose had one. I've got a video about street chargers. I'm actually going to do a little bit more in-depth video once I go to doing, where am I at? Once I go to doing that car there, I'm going to do an in-depth video on the street charger. The Blue Rose, I was kind of rushed. I was fighting weather, so I had to get it back to the guy that just bought it, so I was kind of in a hurry. But yeah, I'm going to do a more in-depth video on that. Amazing product, streetcharger.com. Check them out. But like I said, you do have to know what voltage you're running, and they can help you figure that out. Bill over at Street Charger, he's a really good guy, very, very, very knowledgeable, and he can kind of walk you through it. If you have a simple setup like this, yeah, it's kind of easy to figure out. But some of the setups where you got, like your ground there and it feeds off two different directions, or it's in parallel, it can look confusing. But that's another one of those things, find somebody that knows what they're doing. They can tell you the voltage that you're running, and you can order the product that you need. So hopefully I'll give you the info you need. Like I said, easiest just to stick with a simple charger if you're kind of a beginner. It takes a little bit longer, but less things can go wrong, less headaches. And if you have any other questions or anything, leave it in the comments. I'll make a video. It's easy content for me. Sometimes I struggle coming up with stuff, and it's easy stuff for you guys. It's helpful stuff. So with that being said, hit the like button like I said before. Subscribe if you haven't already. Another good thing I want to say, check out Russell Harris's videos. I said it earlier. He's got a YouTube channel as well. He has a lot of information. Don't be afraid to go out and look for information. There is a lot of information out there. His channel definitely has some good stuff on it, so check that out also. But until then, hopefully the wind didn't kill this video. I know it's a little windy. I've been fighting it. Plus, everybody and their mother decides to drive around today. So I appreciate you guys sticking through it, and we'll see you on the next one.
What seems to be the problem?
Good shot. Got away free. It lives to die another day.